rivals. It's the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim against the Oakland Athletics. You'll see Game 1 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with my broadcast partner, Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, we've seen some crazy things in this 2010 baseball season. Perfect games and one of the oddest injuries you'll ever see. And really, it went from jubilation for the Angels to, oh my gosh, I can't believe what just happened. It's the injury to Kendry Morales on May 29th.
And it changed celebrations at home plate forever. There's no doubt you will not see this happen again just because of what is going to happen in the future. Kendry Morales with a walk-off grand slam. That was the fun part. This was the sad part. He jumped on home plate, broke his leg, and he has been out ever since. He'll be out quite a while. He had surgery, but that's the pile-on that happened in Anaheim, and again, it will not happen again because the Angels for sure will not do it, and I don't think around baseball you're going to see a lot of that celebration anymore.
And Ray, you know what? Nobody's feeling sorry for the Angels because even with Morales, maybe their best offensive player out, they have still played terrific baseball.
And the man's picture right there, Mike Scioscia says it all. He's a great manager. He's been there for a long time. It seems they love adversity. Look at the numbers since he got hurt. They're 7-1. They just seem to put it together, and I think they rise to that next level when they have a key player go out. It happened last year with Nick Adenhart. It's happened this year with Kendry Morales. You cannot count them out. They're a very good ball club.
And tonight, Mike Napoli will be the first baseman for the Angels, and he's always tough on the A's, so that is what the Angels are doing at first base right now, at least. And it'll be Ben Sheets against Scott Kazmir. That is the pitching matchup. Sheets looking for his first win since May 8th. Hopefully tonight is the night. It's the first of 4, the A's and the Angels coming up.
Brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Corona. Relax and refresh with Corona and Lime.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. Ben Sheets and the A's taking the field. Get started with this 4-game series against the Angels. Game time weather tonight brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission is free and the boardwalk is open daily. 65 degrees. Clear and indeed cooling off after a nice day in the Bay Area. So there are your weather conditions for tonight's game. Let's take a look at the Angels lineup. That man right there is Eric Ibar, and he's going to lead it off and play shortstop, followed by Kendrick at second, Abreu in right. Torrey Hunter in center. He is hot right now, folks. Matsui also starting to hit the ball better. He's the DH. Napoli at first, Rivera in left. Kevin Franson is the third baseman, and Bobby Wilson will do the catching. Defensively for the Athletics, Fox, Davis, and Sweeney left, center, and right. Kuzmanov, Rosales, Ellis, and Barton third to first. Kurt Suzuki is the catcher. Ben Sheets is the pitcher.
And starting pitcher stats are brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers. And for Ben Sheets, his 12th start. Last 6 starts, he's gone 6 or more innings. So that is good news for the A's and Ben Sheets. And he'd like to step it up a little bit more, as he did go 7 innings. His previous start at Detroit. Seeing the Angels for the second time this year. No decision earlier in Anaheim, his second start.
April 10th was that start for Sheets against the Angels. So looking for win number 3 is Ben Sheets. Ibar, 256 the average. But a hot hitter, and I will say that quite a bit about the Angels lineup. They have scored 39 runs in the last 5 games, and they've won all 5 of those games. There's a shot foul.
Well, you look at the production in their lineup, starting with Howie Kendrick hitting second with 36 runs batted in, and Abreu 28, 39 for Hunter, 33 for Matsui, and 25 for Napoli, 25 Rivera. That's some production. You got 6 of your 9 guys with that kind of RBI production, but a curveball is a beauty to Ibar, and that's the Ben Sheets of old right there.
So Ibar strikes out. Looking 1 out here in the second inning, or the bottom of the first inning.
Pulled a fastball, but then took the slow curve, a slower variety of the curveball. There's Tommy Cam right out of the chute, showing a perfectly thrown strike to Ibar, who normally finds a way to put the ball in play.
1 out for Howie Kendrick. Fastball down around the knees for a strike.
That's 87. First pitch to Ibar was not a lot of velocity either. There are the numbers we mentioned with the last 6 starts, 36 strikeouts.
Well, I said in our open, Ray, that Ben Sheets has not won a game since May 8th, which may lead you to believe, well, he's struggling. He really has pitched pretty well. In his last 5 starts, he's 0-1 with 4 no decisions. Kuzmanov flips it across. Barton comes off the bag and cannot handle the throw. Kendrick's going to be aboard, and that's going to be an error. And the error is going to be on Kevin Kuzmanov.
Derek Barton tried his best to keep his foot on the bag. This ball just down the line. Relatively easy play after the backhand. Kuz knows that Kendrick runs well. Would have had him by a good 4 or 5 feet easily with a good throw, but ball just into the runner enough. Derek Barton could not grab it and reach back and tag him. Angels, a club that you do not like to make a mistake against, because they can take advantage of it.
So Bobby Abreu steps in. Six home runs and 28 runs batted in. But Ray, I was saying about Sheets, 0-1 with 4 no decisions in those last 5 starts. But his ERA in that span, 3.45, which is very good. Just has not got a great deal of run support. Abreu down the right field line, deep and gone. 2-run homer for Bobby Abreu here in the first inning, and the Angels lead 2-0. Wow, that happened fast. An error and a home run after the strikeout to Ibar.
Well, you know, Ben Sheets has been throwing 92, 93, 94. He's not hit 88 yet. And it's not intentional either, I don't think. I mean, that's just a fastball that we have not seen from Ben Sheets this year. I'm just saying that just looking at the velocity, it is just not there. Now 91, a little bit more. But a mistake, then goes out of the stretch and home run.
And now he faces Torrey Hunter. 1-1 the count. 9 home runs and 39 runs batted in for Torrey Hunter. And a .287 batting average, so he's having a good year. Hunter has 32 RBIs in his last 32 games. So if you do that all year, you'll have a pretty good year. I bet you'll lead the league in RBIs. 1-2. There's that curveball, pretty good one, but Hunter lays off. And Bobby Abreu with his 7th home run of the year, and RBIs number 29 and 30.
Still not hitting with the average, the .265 entering the game that you expect to be much better before the end of the season.
Another good curveball from Sheets, and he gets his 2nd strikeout.
But both on curveballs. This one a swing and a hard curveball. The one to Ibar was a called 3rd strike. Perfectly thrown. And gave up a 2-run home run to David Ortiz in his last start. And prior to that, it was the Cabrera show in Detroit.
Curveball drops in for a strike to Hideki Matsui. Matsui, 9 homers, 33 runs batted in. Look at the numbers in June, 12 for 23. Matsui hitting in that 5th spot. That is Scott Kazmir, who will take the mound tonight for the Angels. Little dribbler down the first base line, picked up by Barton, and that will do it. Angels get a couple of runs, an error, and then a Bobby Abreu 2-run homer here in the top of the 1st. Two 2-0 Angels. Rajai Davis steps in. Here's the rest of the lineup. Davis, Barton, Suzuki, Kuzmanov, Rosales, Sweeney, Ellis, Cust, and Fox. That is the A's lineup tonight. And they will be facing the left-hander Scott Kazmir. First pitch is outside to Rajai Davis. .256 with a couple of home runs for Davis. In a league-leading 23 stolen bases. Pretty good fastball there from Kazmir, who has yet to put it all together with the Angels since coming over in the trade last year. And a fastball, swing and a miss. So Davis strikes out, and that's how the A's have the first starts. Defensively for the Angels, Rivera, Hunter, and Abreu in the outfield. Franzen, Ibar, Kendrick, Napoli on the infield. The catcher is Bobby Wilson. And the pitcher is Scott Kazmir.
11th start for the left-hander. Career against the A's, how about that? 8-3 with a .296 earned run average. 15th start overall, but his season this year, he won 2, lost 3 straight, then won 2 of his last 3. Basically, fastball, slider, changeup, fastball, low 90s. Angels got him late August last year, so that would have been after the trading deadline. Which means he had clear waivers.
Yep.
In order for that trade to be consummated. But probably a bit of the money, too. Picked up by the Angels. He had signed a very good contract with the Tampa Bay Rays.
And the Rays, of course, had a couple of young pitchers in the minor leagues ready, and they could afford to trade Scott Kazmir. Angels needed another starter.
Rays have 5 very good starters.
I wonder, too, Ray, and listen, the Angels will never admit this. I don't know if it's true or not, but you wonder if maybe they didn't acquire Kazmir with the thought of, I don't know that we're going to be able to sign John Lackey. Yep. And we may need another starter next year. Next year now being this year. And ends up Lackey goes. And Kazmir, they had him in the trade.
Check out our keys to the game brought to you by Toyota for sheets. Want to cool down the red hot Angels, though the A's right now trailing 2-0. Kazmir, 199 earned run average. Last starts at Oakland here at the Coliseum in a 4-game series. Make or break with a question mark. As we said in our open, don't want to get too far down. Like to stay even. It's a nice little 3-team pack right now. The Mariners leading the Rangers by a score of 4-0.
In the 8th inning, that game in Texas. Now it's going to the 9th. Strike to Kurt Suzuki. So 4 games A's Angels this week. 4 games Mariners Rangers this week. What will the standings look like on Friday morning? That will be interesting. A little slider from Kazmir. That was the pitch. Probably his best pitch when he was going well. And now, talking to the Angels people, the slider is not always there for him. Trying to get that back. He is a strikeout guy when he is on, but not striking out nearly as many people this year. Look at that.
Yeah, that's huge. A lot, very different. Let's give on over trade to the Rays from the Mets as a youngster, and trade I'm sure the Mets hearing about for a long time, considering the success he had with the Rays. But he's had some arm problems. It seems like a lot of pitchers do. Derek Bart is trying to get a balk call from Bill Miller, first base umpire, talking to him quite a bit.
Fastball and a swing and a miss. So maybe a little life from Kazmir on that fastball tonight. You saw the miles per hour, 91. But there's a little extra to it.
Well, you have a 3-pitch pitcher, and as a right-hander, you might see the slider backdoor occasionally or down and in. Change up. That was just a fastball outside corner. Pretty good location.
So 2 outs, and here's Kevin Kuzminov. On a day when the Major League Baseball first round of the draft has just been completed, I believe. Scott Kazmir was a first-round pick of the Mets back in 2002, the 15th overall pick. So he knows what it's like to be a first-round pick. We'll tell you who the A's took in a little bit.
That was a pretty good choice.
I was not going to go there with that particular phrase, but you just did.
It was. It was a good choice.
All right. And we hope it's the right choice.
Anytime you get a power guy for your first choice.
We're being cheesy, and we'll tell you why in a minute. 0-2 to Kuzminov. Just a bit inside.
Watching Derek Barton at first base. Of course, the Angels, especially with a left-handed pitcher, they have their first baseman play off the bag. They're not really holding the runner on, even though Barton is capable of stealing a base. But you have a catcher, Mike Napoli, playing first base. I just wonder if he's going to get picked off, because he kind of goes back to first base when he sees the pitcher throwing over. That kind of taking the throw on the run, and the pitcher making the throw to the bag. And from a great catcher, Mike Scioscia, his 11th season as the Angels. I think this is year number 2 of his 10-year contract, so he's got about another 9.
He's going to be just fine there.
It is 20 years at least with the Angels.
Off the foot of Kuzminov.
Mike Scioscia missed the last 2 games, and even in his absence, Ron Renicky, the bench coach, handled the ball club, but they won, kept their win streak alive. It was his daughter's graduation, high school graduation.
I believe so.
That's what it was for Mike Scioscia. So he took a couple of days. Ron Renicky, his bench coach, took over and created the sweep of the Mariners.
Another 1-2 to Kuzminov. And there's that fastball and a swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Kazmir in the bottom of the first inning. We head to the second, 2-0 Angels. Top of the second, Bobby Abreu with a 2-run homer in the first inning for the runs. Napoli, Rivera, and Franson against Ben Sheets. Curveball in first strike to Napoli.
I think we're seeing Ben Sheets' best pitch tonight, and that is his curveball. And changeup. Angels must be wondering, where is that 93-mile-an-hour fastball? It has not arrived yet. Maybe about the time Chef Rodney comes up.
Soon, we hope. Fastball runs high. So Mike Napoli playing first base tonight. He's had a fair amount of time there since the Kendry Morales injury. Kuzminov behind the bag. And he froze in time. Napoli's retired. One out. Here's our Subway Eat Fresh Ask Glenn and Ray question, and we will tell you right now who the A's took in the draft. Hank from Parking Lot D, right here at the Coliseum, asked, how did the A's do in the MLB draft today? Well, it was just the first round today, so the A's made one selection, and there he is. Michael Choice. He's an outfielder from the University of Texas, Arlington. Right-handed hitter, 6 foot, 215 pounds. So that is the A's guy here in 2010, Michael Choice.
That's why we said he's a good choice, right?
That is exactly right. So we hope that he becomes a star with the Oakland A's. Again, the 10th overall pick. Kuzminov's busy. As Rivera gets the ball to Kuz, who takes care of it, and that's the second out.
Now, it's a special day, there's no doubt that for at least 30 players who were drafted today.
Yep.
Third baseman, number 18.
Now, with the Angels getting the first choice of the Red Sox and the Seattle Mariners, that means those two teams had an off day, right? Would that be the case?
Yeah, unless those picks are in the top 15, which they technically were not. You do not forfeit your pick if it's in the top 15. But I know the Angels had the 18th pick. That was the Seattle pick for Figgins. And the 29th pick, that was the Red Sox pick for Lackey. And they had their own, which is 30. So yeah, they got 2 first-round picks for losing those guys and their own. So.
And they get pick up the supplemental starting tomorrow.
37 and 40. So they had 5 picks. The first 40, the Angels. So that's a big day for them. Mark Ellis ranging to his left, and Ben Sheets, 3 ground ball outs here in the second inning. Bottom of the second coming up with Rosales, Sweeney, and Ellis. Followed by Sweeney and Ellis. Scott Kazmir struck out 3 in the first inning. Sandwiched around a 1-out walk to Derek Barton. Fastball for a strike. So we were talking about the A's #1 pick, Michael Choice, the outfielder from the University of Texas, Arlington. We will be joined by Eric Kubota, who's the director of scouting for the A's, in just a little bit. So he will tell us more about Michael Choice. Foul tip, and that's a strike. So we'll find out from Eric what the rest of the draft holds this year.
There's a foul tip called by the home plate umpire. He did not go around, and I don't think Rosales is saying he did not foul it. It did not look like there was any contact made.
Little flare down the right field line, and that will drop. Rosales, a big turn. He spins around and goes back. So a leadoff single for Rosales. Top 10 players taken in the draft this year. And there it is. Bryce Harper, no surprise there. The Nationals for the second year in a row had the #1 pick. And he's a catcher. Got a lot about Jameson Taillon as well. See 3 college pitchers right in the middle. So names that, well, they all hope they get to the big league someday. So the Nationals, last year was Strasburg, gave him $15 million, and you know what? They're going to have to pony up again with Bryce Harper.
And just reading about Bryce Harper, I don't think there's any doubt that he will sit out.
Supposed to be a stud. Yeah. Grounded to second. Kendrick spins, throws a second for 1. Back to first. Not quite in time. Sweeney beat it out. So Sweeney's aboard on the fielder's choice, but nice play by Howie Kendrick.
Batting 7.
Well, they turn it nicely, but Brian Sweeney with speed down the line. And Adam Rosales got the shortstop after the fact. He unloaded the ball, and then Adam decided to take him down.
Do what you got to do, right? So here's Mark Ellis. Last year, the Athletics took Grant Green, the shortstop from University of Southern California. Green playing in Stockton for the 8th California League, so nearby. Looked at his numbers a couple days ago. He's at around 300, 295 in that area. Had him up in the booth last year. Grant Green. Talk about an inexact science. The baseball draft, that's a tough drill. But you got to get a little bit lucky sometimes.
Well, you also have some great scouts. Talking to Jermaine Clark, former Major League player, now a scout with the Athletics. And I think a former player can bring a lot. I think the A's are fortunate to have someone like Jermaine Clark as one of the scouts. Because the things, if you've played at the Major League level, there are things that you can look for. And, of course, it was Jermaine who got a Max Stassi. And saw a lot in him. And, of course, the A's drafted him and signed him. And he's playing in Kane County right now. And I'm sure we will see Max Stassi in the big leagues sometime in the near future and for a long time. And that doesn't mean Kurt Suzuki's necessarily going anywhere. It's just that Max Stassi is that good. Kurt Suzuki is probably going to be an all-star, and this is his 3rd year. He's eligible for arbitration after this season. So the A's have him under control, at least for the next 3. And we hope for a lot longer, because he is an excellent player.
Outside to Mark Ellis.
Talking to Keith Lippman, Director of Player Development. Of course, his job is to take the players who are drafted and figure out where they're going and move them around. And brought up an interesting point. He said a lot of these guys don't even sign until the deadline, which is now August the 15th. So they don't really have to worry about sending guys. They will starting tomorrow and the next day, Wednesday, when they start their 2nd round of drafts. There'll be a lot more rounds tomorrow. Today, only the 1st round. But you think of a minor league system. They have the rookie league, a couple of A's, AA, AAA, And you look at 25 players per, and now you're drafting another 60, 70, 80, whatever. I mean, you got to find room for them.
But if you're in the, you put all the minor leaguers each team has, and if you're in the bottom 50 as far as performance-wise, you may be gone. I mean, hang in there, young man. It's a lot to handle.
Just got some assistance. I did my part. I got it down to you. Now you take over and let me eat it. Sounds like our booth. Bring food.
Swing and a miss. Ellis strikes out for the second out, and that's 4 strikeouts for Kazmir. That was not a fastball.
No, it was down. It was, I think, supposed to be a slider. Might have been a straight change, but whatever it was in the dirt, and probably a change. It had Mark Ellis swinging at the delivery and a pitch out of the strike zone.
So 2 outs for Jack Cust. I was reading a story today, Ray, you'll like this. Scott Boras is the agent. He was the agent for Steven Strasburg. I believe he's the agent for Bryce Harper.
No, he's an advisor.
He's an advisor. Whatever that means. But the story said, it was on the internet, it said last year, Earl said Steve Strasburg's a 1 in 50, meaning once every 50 years there's a player like this. All right, he may be right. We'll give him that. But he said it again this year. Bryce Harper is a 1 in 50. Of course. It's a guy who comes along once every 50 years. Isn't that hard to do back-to-back years?
Well,
I guess it could be.
Yeah, I read one Scott said once in a lifetime. So Scott Boras says once every 50 years. So that means the next 100 years nobody comes along.
That's right.
Because you've got the 2.
They've covered the next 100 years. Strasburg's going to pitch tomorrow night in his major league debut. That'll be fun to watch. Kendrick ranging to his right, throws out Cust, side retired. A hit, and the A's leave a runner. We head to the 3rd inning. 2-0 Angels. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, leading things off. Will be followed by Ibar and then Kendrick. Fabio Abreu with a 2-run homer in the 1st. Kuzmanov kicks off his glove, and Bobby Wilson will be aboard. It's going to be a base hit. Kuzmanov got a glove on it. Could not come up with it.
Well, that would have been another ground ball to the third base side, and these right-handed hitters way out in front. But the dive, Rosales going into the hole, might have been tough to throw out, even though Wilson's a catcher and it's not run that fast.
First pitch to Eric Ibar. He bunts, and it's a good one right down the line. Kuzmanov flips to first, dug out by Barton. So it's a sacrifice for Ibar.
Well, Kuz has had a game's worth of work already just in the third inning. You have to be concerned, only one play, and that's to first base to get the speedy Ibar, and it took a very nice scoop by Derek Barton to get him. Play by Kevin Kuzmanov again.
Howie Kendrick steps in. On the ground to the shortstop, Rosales. He guns it across, and that's the second out. 2 outs, and let's get to our legendary performance. Ray Foss, you're going to like this. It's brought to you by Nation's Giant Hamburgers, the 1965 Major League Baseball draft. That gentleman on the right there, the good-looking one, the movie star-looking guy, is my broadcast partner, Ray Foss. He was the 7th overall pick in the first ever Major League Baseball draft. Hey, I'd have picked you on your good looks alone. Look at that guy.
Oh, my. 18 years. Wow. 18 years old. Jeez.
We decided when we showed that last year that you looked like Steve McQueen in the movie Bullet.
Oh, my. I think we should start doing some deletions.
That's a good one. That's one of my favorite pictures ever. When you've got a giant appetite, it's
yeah,
got
I do.
to be patient.
I just created a giant appetite. I had to giant. But you know, the best part, when I was drafted in 1965, got to go to Cleveland. And I've said it before, but what a memory I have of sitting in the old stadium with Bob Neiman and sitting up in the old press box and eating cheeseburgers.
You were the number one pick.
Best cheeseburgers. And I said,
you can have as many as you want.
That's right. And he said, that's exactly what Bob said. We're sitting in the press box in his area, his box, and he said, you hungry? I said, yeah. And he said, got great cheeseburgers, and exactly that. Eat as many as you want. I was there 3 days. I probably had, can't even.
So you don't even remember. I don't remember what my bonus was, but those cheeseburgers were good.
Well, I made up for it because they didn't give me much money, so I made up for it in cheeseburgers. Sat there for 3 days, took batting practice, and then went to Reading, Pennsylvania.
The first ever draft. That's something. Rick Monday, the first pick.
He will always be the first ever player drafted Major League Baseball.
Huh. Did you have an inkling that you would go that high? I mean, did people talk to you?
Well, the surprise was Cleveland because they weren't even scouting me, and there was kind of a pool of scouts who pulled the information, and it was a Pittsburgh Pirates scout who sent the information in to the Cleveland Indians, and Cleveland drafted me. Walter Shannon came into Marion, Illinois to sign me, and went on from there. But no, it was the shock was that Cleveland was the team that drafted.
Sure.
Instead of Houston had been following quite a bit. And I didn't care who, just give me the contract.
And I take it you didn't wait till the deadline to sign your contract.
No, when Walter Shannon came in and he left, and I found out that he said, where's he going? And I said, well, just could not come to an agreement. I said, yes, we can. Get him back, and just whatever he said, I'll sign.
Give me a cheeseburger and then I'll wrap this baby up.
Plane ticket to Cleveland.
That's great. 1965. By the looks of that picture, you put aside a movie career to play baseball.
Yeah. Did Josh Hood take that one? And
oh, no, we got that baby on file, and it's not going anywhere.
Even B.I. had a chuckle.
B.I. laughed about that. Tough audience. Kuzmanov again stays down and throws just in time to get Bobby a very close play at first. So a one-out or leadoff hit by Bobby Wilson. Nothing else. The Angels lead 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. developed an analytical product being used by baseball clubs. There's also a product for fans. Improve your fantasy play or track your favorite players and teams. Go to BluebirdSports.com for details. Jake Fox swings at the first pitch. Pops a foul back. Fox, Davis, and Barton for the Athletics. Jake Fox hitting in the 9th spot, playing left field tonight. 5th time he has started a game in left. Down around the knees on the inside corner for a strike, 0-2.
We showed the numbers of strikeouts for Scott Kazmir. It's not getting back to the 9+ per 9 innings the way he is pitching tonight. 4 strikeouts already in the first 8 batters.
And that hits Fox. The A's will get a base runner.
Now, fans, for most Tuesday games the rest of the season, fans driving to the game park for free. And if you drive a Chevy, just show your Chevy car keys on the night of the game at the A's box office and receive a field level game ticket for only $20. That's a savings of $6. Next Chevy free parking Tuesday is tomorrow against the Angels. For details, visit OaklandAthletics.com.
It'll be Vin Mazzaro and Jared Weaver tomorrow night. Game 2 of this series. Davis bunts it, and it drops foul. Game just went final down in Arlington. The Seattle Mariners beat the Texas Rangers 4-2. It was a complete game for Cliff Lee. Gave up 7 hits, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. So Lee is now 4-2.
Not surprising. The Rangers made it interesting as they scored 2 in the 9th. They had a couple of runners on.
And they left Lee in there to finish it. Feldman took the loss. He's 3-6. So there's your updated standings. Now, if the A's can win tonight, they would be tied with the Rangers for first place, and obviously on that page leapfrog the Angels. Michael Saunders, saw a little bit of him, big left-handed hitter, hit a 3-run homer for the Mariners. Again, that's the first of a 4-game series. For the Seattle Mariners, it's the start of a 10-game road trip. So the Mariners trying to get back in this thing, although they have a long ways to go. They are now 23-34 with that win tonight. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Fastball well placed by Kazmir.
The lefties can do that so well. Of course, we saw Dallas Braden, not so much a strikeout pitcher as Kazmir is, but in Dallas Braden's perfect game, he did this a lot. And pitch for the Tommy Cam shows it on the corner. And really not a pitch you expect a hitter to be backing up on. Dallas Braden, the hitter, the pitchers now with bats in their hands, and Dallas would be, let's see, he'll pitch Wednesday here and then Tuesday in Chicago. So he's getting ready for Wrigley Field. Means he gets Wrigley Field and St. Louis,
That's right.
The series finale, Sunday
and Sunday. Left field corner, Rivera makes the catch on the run, and that is out number 2. You know, it's funny, I asked Dallas Braden, gosh, it was about a week ago. So you're starting to hit, getting ready, and he knew exactly, obviously he knew when he was going to pitch, but he knew who he was facing. He said, yeah, I get Wainwright in St. Louis. Well, that was 2, you know, it'll be, from the time he knew that till when it actually happens, probably 2 weeks out, but he said, I get the Wainwright curveball. So these guys know not only when they're pitching, but who they're pitching against.
Just did a quick check of the schedule, this being the 6th, make it the 7th of June. And the Yankees will be in town in about a month, right after the 4th of July on the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And according to Every Fifth Day, Dallas Braden would pitch game 3 of that series on a Wednesday night. Everybody, of course, looking forward to the Yankees visit back to the Coliseum after what happened on the first trip here. He will actually host the Yankees twice here before they go back to New York for the one trip.
One and one to Kurt Suzuki, who struck out swinging in the first inning. Little strike called by Eric Cooper.
Now fans don't even have a monitor to look at, and they're booing this call. And can you blame them? Wow, it's shin high. Unbelievable. Forced him to swing at that pitch.
Indeed. And Ibar takes care of it on the flip to Kendrick's side. Retired. 4th inning coming up. 2-0 Angels. Ace Baseball and Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Cache Creek's Splash of Cat. Hundreds of prizes every day until July 5th. Visit CacheCreek.com for details.
Kurt Suzuki talking to Eric Cooper and probably simply saying, Coop, I didn't say anything, but make sure my pitcher gets the same pitch.
Indeed.
Lengthy conversation with the home plate umpire. It's hard for a catcher to complain because he has to go back behind the plate.
Salas guns it to first, and Torrey Hunter is retired. So one out here in the top of the 4th inning.
Now batting, number 55, Hideki Matsui.
Hideki Matsui, who grounded out to first, will step in for his second at bat.
Angels have always been an aggressive hitting team. They mostly will swing at strikes, but tonight, very aggressive. 3 of the last 4 hitters have swung at the first pitch, and all 3 being ground ball out. So the one was I'll make it. Make it another one.
Sheets takes care of it.
So evidently Ben is throwing quality enough strikes in the first pitch that the hitters are aggressively swinging, and there's already 9 ground ball outs with 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Now batting, number 44, Mike Napoli.
Well, the Angels, an offensive breakdown. They are 5th in the league in total runs scored, 4th in home runs. The 10th in on-base percentage and 7th in slugging. scoring a fair amount of runs. Last year, they were second in the league in runs scored. They scored 883 runs last year. That's a lot. Anytime you get up close to 900 runs this season, that's a lot.
Well, it definitely helps your pitching staff. Of course, you score that many runs, they can give up a few and still win a lot of games, which they did.
97 to be exact. They won the division by 10 games last year, did the Angels.
I mean, they got right there, Torrey Hunter, even though a lot of things have happened to the Angels the last couple of years. He is the leader on this club that will make sure they keep going. Because Bobby Abreu coming back, but there is Torrey Hunter right there. Good man. Coming over from the Minnesota Twins, free agent, center fielder.
Kuzminov, a busy man. He takes care of Napoli, and that's a 6-pitch inning for Ben Sheets. 3 ground ball outs. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Still 2-0 Angels.
Third baseman, number 5, Kevin Kuzminov.
Well, make sure you visit the A's page on CSNCalifornia.com to vote in tonight's poll. You make the call. Which A's hitter do you have the most confidence in with the game on the line? Kevin Kuzminov on that list. He steps in leading off the bottom of the 4th inning. A's with 1 hit off Kazmir. That was a single by Adam Rosales. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts for Kazmir through the first 3 innings. He has thrown 50 pitches. Kuzminov gets jammed, and Kazmir's been able to get that fastball in on right-handed hitters. Almost seems like when he really wants to get in there, he can.
Well, not a bad pitch because hitters don't like to get jammed. They don't like fastballs in. They'd rather extend their arms. See that scoreless streak by Kazmir. 17 innings of scoreless baseball against the A's in his last appearances here.
And that's, as Ray said, here in Oakland. Overall, he's 8-3 in his career against the Athletics. On the ground is Franson charging, picks it up and throws out Kuzminov, and that's the first down.
It's amazing playing for an Eastern Division team that didn't have that many starts. 15 against the Athletics, the Western Division team. But that was the case playing for the Tampa Bay Rays. That'll change now, playing with the Angels, a division which the A's and Angels would see each other a lot during the season. About 19 times.
19 it is. 10 here in Oakland, 9 in Anaheim. The A's have already been to Anaheim twice. Just a bit off the plate to Rosales, playing shortstop tonight. In front of the mound, Kazmir picks it up and throws to first, and Rosales just out at first on a close play. So that is out number 2. So 5 in a row retired by Kazmir after he hit Jake Fox with a pitch leading off the bottom of the third.
Number 21, Ryan Sweeney.
Sweeney reached on a fielder's choice. He had a ground ball to the second baseman, Kendrick. Forced Rosales at second base. Interesting stat on Kazmir. Left-handed hitters this year have hit 500 off him. He 19 for 38. Now that was coming into tonight's start. There's a hit. And it's fair down the left field line, and Sweeney is going to have himself a 2-out double. So Sweeney slices one down the left field line.
That's just perfect hitting by Ryan Sweeney. We've seen that so often where he stays back so well, and one of the best opposite field hitters on this club. Slicing a drive down the left field line. And Rivera knew it was going to be an easy double, so no reason to hurry after it. So the A's going to need another 2-out hit to score a run. That's 500 average. A little misleading, I think, at times. I don't know how many times a team will feature lefties against a pretty good left-handed pitcher. Because of that pitch to right-handers, the changeup, which is very good.
Mark Ellis struck out swinging in the second. Just a bit low.
Same pitch that, so maybe talking to Cooper by Kurt Suzuki. It changed because that was the same pitch that was called on Kurt Suzuki. Exactly. Now Wilson's probably upset.
1-2 Dallas.
Boy's going to have to swing at it. He's going to be pretty consistent with his strike zone.
Bouncer towards short. Nybar takes care of it. Side retired. So the A's can do nothing with the Ryan Sweeney 2-out double. Eric Kubota, Director of Scouting for the Athletics, will join us when we come back. Coliseum. We're pleased to be joined by Eric Kubota, who's the director of scouting for the Athletics, a very busy man this time of year, but he's going to tell us all about Michael Choice, the A's #1 draft pick. Eric, thanks for stopping by. I know it is a extremely busy time and a very busy day, but we appreciate you stopping.
Glad to be here.
You needed a break anyways, right?
Definitely. I could use a little blow.
All right, let's get right to it. Michael Choice, we've already done the cheesy jokes about is he the right choice, but in fact, I read an article about him when we were down in Texas playing the Rangers, and they talked about what a terrific player he was. So you guys must be pleased. And a high pick, too, 10th overall.
Yeah, we're really excited to get Michael Choice in the draft today. I mean, he's a tremendous college talent with tremendous power potential. We identified him early in the process, and we're very excited that he was there when we picked today.
Center fielder?
Plays center field now. I think we'll send him out there. We think he does have a chance to stay there, but even if he has to move to a corner spot, he has the kind of power that profiles there.
Eric, you said you had picked him and he was available. I know that you all get together prior to the draft, and I'm sure you hope the guy's going to be available, but was he the guy that you initially went into would be the #1 selection, and as you said, he was available?
Well, I think we went into it early in the spring. We identified him as a guy that would be in our mix, and we were hoping that he would get to us. So we were certainly pleased when he did get to us today.
You see the size, 6 foot, 215 pounds. I haven't seen the guy play. I saw a picture of him, but I like to ask, who does he remind you of as a major leaguer? Somebody mentioned Ron Gant today. Is that a fair? I mean, just from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, I think physically there's some similarity to Ron Gant. I mean, he is a strong, compact, powerful kid with lightning in his hands, and he really excited us with what he could become.
School record 34 home runs at University of Texas Arlington.
How much does it help, Eric, to have a college player that you know that is a 4-year school, so he was a junior?
Yeah.
Three years. So you've gotten a chance, the scouts, to see him for the 3 years versus a high school player that maybe you can't determine if he's going to be as good, having not seen him as much.
Yeah, I think it helps. I mean, we certainly have the opportunity to see those guys play a little bit more. We got to see him with Team USA. He was on the national team last summer. And just the fact that the level of baseball is higher, you know, the college player just comes with a little less risk than the high school player.
That one ripped foul. So he is the man, Michael Choice. We talked briefly about the first pick, Bryce Harper. As good as advertised?
He's certainly an extremely talented kid. Yeah, very much so. And he was fun to go watch play this spring.
And he's 17?
He is.
Does he get a major league contract?
That's for them to figure out.
But I mean, if you think about it, that by 20 he'd have to be in the big leagues, right? Based on a 3-year major league contract.
Correct.
Because you had 3 options, and if it's a major league contract, he goes to spring training every year. And now, explain if you will the difference in a major league contract versus saying your choice or the first selection, and how and what the process is for him.
I think it's just an exaggerated timeline. I mean, the accelerated timeline. I mean, he has what. Players on a major league contract just have to get there that much more quickly. So
whether they're ready or not, right?
Now, how long can you protect your #1 choice, #1 select? I hate to use that word because that's his name, but your first selection, and again because there is a different process and how long or before he's exposed to other clubs, to the 5-year or Rule 5,
right.
Or just in general.
Right. He's ours without any risk through his 3rd full year of baseball, and then he has to he would be, if he weren't on the major league roster by then, he would have to be subject to the Rule 5 draft. If he weren't drafted by another club Rule 5 wise, he's ours until to like 6 years basically.
And tomorrow and Wednesday, tell us about that.
Tomorrow,
go ahead, you can talk. They can see.
It's rounds.
We don't care anyway because it's an Angels player.
Tomorrow's rounds 2 through 30, so still some very, very important picks left for us in the draft. I mean, we expect to add some exciting prospects tomorrow as well, and we're looking forward to it.
I'm sorry, Ray.
How key is the signability? We hear this so often where signability. Explain that and how important it is.
Well, it doesn't do us any good to pick them if we can't sign them. So
but can you find out beforehand?
You do as much as you can,
okay.
And you use every avenue of information that you can, but you don't totally know until you actually are put in a situation where you have to sign.
Can you get a vibe from the kid or maybe the kid's parents or advisor, that type of thing?
Generally, yes. In most cases, you can. And, I mean, it's an educated yes, but our scouts do a great job on that. And I think, our educated yes has been more educated than yes.
Sure. And most kids want to play pro ball. I mean, I think they want to get in there and get started, right?
Yeah. But we have...
You can call it, Eric, if you want, because you know what, I don't feel like calling it because it's going to be an RBI triple. Angels are going to take a 3-0 lead. So back-to-back 2-out extra base hits, and Ibar, RBI number 11.
He is a shortstop. But he can hit. As we are seeing, just a strong young man and makes contact with that kind of a flat swing, but put a charge into that, went into the gap, no chance to get it. Eric, what percentage of high school players are drafted versus college players?
That's a good question. I think I know in the first round today it was close to 50-50.
Really? That much?
Yeah. So, I think that's probably, as far as players that get signed, it's probably close to that kind of ratio.
And the deadline for signing players has been changed. Is that correct?
Well, there is a deadline now. It's right around the middle of August, so there's a hard deadline that you have to have those players signed by. If you don't sign them by then, they go back into the draft next year.
Is that so they can go into school? Is that pretty much in the college, those who are eligible?
Yeah, it's partially creating a situation where those kids know that they're going to go back to school, and it's partially for us so we know who we're going to sign or who we're not.
Yeah.
But if you don't sign a kid, if you don't sign your first-round draft pick, you get rewarded a draft pick next year. Is that correct?
Yeah, you would get a compensation pick for not signing that player in next year's draft. And that's only through the first 3 rounds.
Okay. Well, we're not worried about that. You guys will get it done.
Now, when do you start scouting for 2011?
For the most part, we've really already started. I mean, we're seeing, high school juniors as we go out and see the seniors. We're seeing the college freshmen and sophomores. And basically, we'll start immediately going 100% looking for guys for next year's draft. I mean, there's showcase events that start within the next week.
Now, the scouts, and you call it the war room, where you're all down. Who is there as far as I saw Jermaine Clark and, of course, Billy Bean, David Force, but who basically is in that room for this draft?
Our entire scouting staff is here.
So who's out scouting for 2011?
we're giving them the break for 2011 so far.
So everybody's here.
Everybody is here. All of our area scouts, all of our supervisors and cross-checkers, and then also all the office people, Billy and David and Farhan and Billy Owens and Grady. And it's a lot of fun down there. We have a lot of fun. It's what we work for all year, and it's exhausting and tiring, but it's fun as well.
Now, you mentioned all your scouts. And again, I think of Jermaine Clark. I talked to him. He was, I guess, scouting Max Stassi last year, who you signed.
Correct.
So when you have the scouts in there, as far as your picks, what input, how does that work with regard to all the scouts?
Well, if they weren't there, the only information we would have from the area scout would be a report. This way, they can actually give us a personal report. They can tell us, about recent conversations they may have had. They can give us information that's not necessarily included on the report, and it's right there, right at hand, and they're right there, able to stand up and pound the table and make a case for certain players if they so choose.
So indeed, that does happen. I mean, one guy scouts this guy, and another scout scouts this guy, and they both think that they're the best player, right? I mean, so negotiating goes to work.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, they're in there to argue for their players, and hopefully we end up making the best decision when we get.
Eric, thanks for joining us. Good luck tomorrow. Okay,
good man, hard work.
Thanks for having me.
Eric Kubota, the A's director of scouting. He's going to get back into the war room. The A's are going to try to come back. They're down 4-0. The A's now trailing 4-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So work to do as Jack Tuss leads it off, and he swings and misses at the first pitch from Scott Kazmir.
Well, I thought Eric Kubota's going to be here about 30 seconds considering the 2 quick outs, but unfortunately the Angels put a couple of runners on with 2 outs and scored 2 with 2 outs.
Well, we like to talk to Eric as long as we can, but not at the price of giving up 2 runs. But it's always great to talk with him. Eric, he's a good man. He works hard. Oh, here's our trivia question. It's brought to you by AT&T. Ray's excited. We'll tell you why in a minute. Today, Bryce Harper was the 6th catcher in history, drafted #1 overall. Who were the other 5? That's a good question. See, I think that's a trick question, because wasn't Danny Goodwin a catcher?
Yeah, I think
he was drafted twice as the #1 pick. That's pretty hard to do. Jake Fox is retired, so 2 quick outs.
Eric Kubota came up. We knew he was coming up at about 8 o'clock or around there, but you'd also got word that Chef Rodney was going to deliver food at about 8 o'clock. And as much as we wanted to see Eric Kubota, those Kobe sliders, is that what's here?
Could you do play-by-play for an half inning?
Look at David Renetti over there.
We're going to have people that we never knew coming into this booth in the next 15 minutes.
Chef Rodney, of course, here at the Coliseum. We introduced to him last year and thought it was a good idea to bring some food up so we could talk about all the great food here at the Coliseum, so we could sample it. James, stay on the camera. This is what we're looking at. We'll take the cover off. And wow. Check that out. Good food here at the Coliseum, folks. Man. And I'll tell you shortly, or at least all the people in the booth would be telling you shortly just how good it is.
It's enough for you and me. I don't know what everybody else is getting. Kate Longworth is sitting behind us, and she was eyeing it pretty well, too. So
Pretty just jumped over the chair.
There's a shot down the right field line. Rajai Davis is going to run for a while. Hits the bag at second, still motoring, and he's going to make it to third with a stand-up triple.
Ball almost got by.
And he's stretching it out a bit, Ray. He came up limping just a little bit, about halfway between second and third. Let's hope he's okay.
Oh, that kind of speed, you just keep running. You know, with the slicing down into the corner, pitch outside, great hitting by Rajai Davis, and of course with the ball slicing away from Bobby Abreu. You might think 1-2, but once the ball gets caught up in the corner, and he reached back. I tell you, if he had reached back and stopped the ball, caught it, Rajai might have had a chance for inside the park. And grabbed his left hamstring. That's not good.
So the Angels had a couple runs with 2 outs in the last half inning. And there's the grimace. That's not good. Let's hope he's okay. Side 2-0 to Barton.
As someone said about clothes make the man, when Rajai, wheels make the man for him.
That's true.
His legs. And you have to see somebody grimace like that, grab the hamstring. Fortunately, he's staying in the game. Let's hope that is just a little twinge. Patterson getting loose just in case.
But and Barton walks for the 2nd time in this game. And that is walk number 41 on the year for Barton. 2-out rally here for the Athletics.
Now batting, the catcher, number 8.
And here's Kurt Suzuki. Chance for the A's to get back in this game. This will be pitch number 75 from Kazmir. He has walked 2 now and struck out 5. 3 of those strikeouts were in the very first inning. Suzuki goes around on a hard slider down and in.
Well, he was looking fastball, and with a couple of pitches that were called strikes in his last at bat, he was going to be swinging regardless, but got a slider, could hold up a swing.
Kurt sitting on a 7-game hitting streak. He's got 11 hits in his last 33 at bats. Fastball strike called on the outside corner. Suzuki doesn't agree with Cooper on that one. They have not seen eye to eye tonight.
Well, this one will tell it all right here. You know, it had maybe the black, but where Bobby was setting up, the catcher, he was set up inside, had to reach, and that's what made it look bad. But an umpire, if the ball's in the strike zone, regardless of what the catcher does, should be able to call it. Everyone go back inside.
Suzuki able to fight it off, keep the count at 1-2.
And Casimir's doing, though, with the fastball, he's really bearing down and throwing it hard inside. He's not taking a chance of having the ball come back. It's the 4-seam, and it's inside hard.
Davis at third, Barton at first. Quick meeting between Bobby Wilson and Scott Kazmir. Long look in the 1-2, and it's hit to left field. Rivera's back. Turns around, warning track, he's got it, side retired. A's strand a pair. We head to the 6th inning. Angels 4 and the A's nothing. Here's our trivia answer. It's brought to you by AT&T. Bryce Harper, the 6th catcher in history, drafted #1 overall. Give me the other 5.
Right after he swallows.
There they are. Steve Cho got 66. Mike Ivey. Danny Goodwin's on there. B.J. Surhoff and Joe Mauer. That's right, Joe Mauer. 2001. But Bryce Harper, and it sounds like he's going to stay as a catcher. He's got a great arm. He's still trailing 4-0, top of the 6th inning.
Well, the reason I asked Eric Kubota about the major league contract, and it's one thing, let's say Steven Strasburg got a major league contract. You get 3 options. And it means that once you go or put on the 40-man roster, go to spring training, and you're sent to the minor leagues, that's one option. Next year, you do the same thing. And then the next year, once you're out of options, anytime they want to try to send you down, have to clear waivers, every other club has a chance to draft you or select you, claim you, if you will. And if that's the case, you're looking at a 17-year-old by 20. I mean, the projections better be good if he gets the contract that I'm sure Scott Boras is going to demand.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. Great tailing fastball by Ben Sheets, and it's a strikeout.
Matsui.
But a 2-run home run on an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and then a triple and an infield single. Following the double by Wilson. Ben Sheets and the A's are trailing.
So Matsui steps in, takes outside. Then you can only use up 1 option per year. So you could send a guy up and down as much as you want. It's 1 option.
Ask Landon Powell.
That's true.
The yo-yo effect.
He used up,
well, he's
3 in a month, but
well, yeah, but
only 1 a year.
1 a year. Once your option, then you're on the roster and you go back and.
Matsui has grounded out twice, once to first and once back to the pitcher. Mike Napoli in the on-deck circle. Sheets curveball. He's had a pretty good one tonight. When the A's were in Anaheim, middle of May, Matsui was really struggling. Still a good enough hitter. Straighten it out.
Well, you know he's going to get the chance. Mike Scioscia is going to keep him in the lineup. He will get every opportunity to correct himself, which he's done.
Line to left, and that's going to get down. Fox cuts it off and gets it back in quickly. So it's a single for Matsui with 1 out. Hit number 6 for the Angels.
Not his big home run hitter, but that pitch away from him on 3 and 2. And took it exactly where it should be hit. That's to left field.
And for the Angels, it was basically a situation where they let Vladimir Guerrero go as a free agent and signed Matsui to take his place. And Matsui's numbers are decent. Vladimir Guerrero has been terrific for the Texas Rangers. Guerrero with 47 RBIs, second most in the American League. Only Miguel Cabrera has more.
How many home runs?
How many home runs he has? He's not in the top 10 in home runs, but 47 RBIs. Eric Cooper chirping a little bit with the A's dugout.
Well, I wonder if it came after the last pitch. The last pitch was a strike, or called a strike. This is called a strike, but maybe the talk came before on the first pitch. Well, Bob Garrett, a good job because of getting in front of Eric Cooper. Cooper was trying to get past Bob to find out who was talking. Here's the first pitch. And they probably, from this side, from the A's dugout, looked at the height and realized that Kurt Suzuki had a ball called shin high. And if they're saying that wasn't a strike, maybe a little bit outside. Now Jim Scanlon is leaving. Well, Jim, I'll give you a lot of credit because I thought after the Boston first game he was going to get run in Boston. So
yeah, he's hung on for a while, but we're not surprised that Scanlon finally got kicked out.
Well, Jim Scanlon, the A's hitting coach, and the defense of his hitters, and as they come back and talk, this is what I'm sure they're talking about. This pitch was the way Wilson caught it. Of course, it didn't make it look good from the A standpoint. And Gert's reaction to the call, but I think the earlier one that was called a strike, well, they had to be concerned about. And needless to say, starting with the Sunday game in Detroit, and then the Monday game in Detroit, and then the 3 games in Boston. That's one of the whole dugout hasn't been ejected. That is the same pitch he called Suzuki.
So the count 2-2 to Napoli. Sheets looking a little bit agitated.
Well, that looked like it had the same amount of plate that pitch to Wilson.
He ends up striking out Napoli anyways, this time swinging. So 5 strikeouts for Ben Sheets.
Now batting, number 20, Juan Rivera.
Henry Rodriguez starts to loosen up. Sheets has thrown 88 pitches in the ball game. He faces Juan Rivera, who he has retired twice. In the hole, Rosales, ranging far to his right, throws to second side, retired. Bottom of the 6th, coming up, 4-2 for the A's. It'll be Kuzminoff, Rosales, and Sweeney. Sixth inning, it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. Coors Light Freeze Can is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. 4-0. Kuzminoff is 0 for 2. The A's have 3 hits in the ball game. 2 walks and 5 strikeouts for Kazmir. Angels are looking for their 6th win in a row. Single by Rosales, double by Sweeney, triple by Davis. Those are the 3 hits.
Well, unfortunately for the A's, their last 2 extra base hits, the double and the triple, have come with 2 outs. Did not get the the next big hit. Well, it's great about yesterday, and Jim Scanlon, the A's hitting coach, sure very proud of this ball club. The 5 hits they got in the first 3 innings, accounting for all 5 runs, coming with 2 outs. And that's great hitting. I know Jim works with the hitters and during batting practice, situational type hitting, and that was perfect yesterday.
Kuzmanov fouls it back. Remember, Rajai Davis on that triple in the bottom of the 5th inning. Came up limping just a little bit going into third base, and he grabbed his left hamstring. And he's heading into the clubhouse. We'll see if he comes back out. But he was grimacing in some pain, so we'll keep an eye on that as Kuzmanov grounds out to second.
Shortstop, number 7, Adam
Patterson immediately started to stretch out. So Rajai Davis with that great speed, as you said at the time, Ray. A leg injury to Rajai Davis, that's about the worst thing that can happen.
Well, if it grabbed him, maybe by coming out of the game, getting some quick treatment, that as bad as hamstring injuries are, it's hoping to be short term. Because for Rajai, he's got a big trip coming up, or at least going to face the Giants this weekend. And then his other club, his original club, the Pirates, will be here. That is 2 weeks from this weekend. And turn back the clock. Well, we can't wait for the 26th of June and see those wonderful gold uniforms.
This was after he hit that triple, and then the inning ended a couple batters later. Rosales hits one to right center where Bobby Abreu goes over. He's got it, and that's the second out. So turn back the clock night. I'm going shopping, you know. Just want you to know that. I'm going shopping. You either do it or you don't do it. It's like Halloween. You can't go like in the middle.
You saw that picture.
That's unbelievable. It's 70s, though, not 60s. So I'm just counting you in. Afro.
I had one of those originally.
Mustache, you got one. Sideburns.
You can just. Slick there.
You told us when we first showed that we were in Cleveland that you said it was what, 66?
1966 spring training.
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona. Parking lot, High Corbett Field. And unfortunately, the Cleveland Indians archives had it.
Yeah,
So
and I dug
that's
it
where you
out.
got it.
I am AAA. 2-2 to Sweeney, and did it hit him? I don't know how it did not. He was able to get out of the way somehow. So it's a full count.
Amazing how guys can turn away to avoid being hit. In the bloused uniform, we saw the Twins.
And it gets through. So Sweeney has a hit. He's 2 for 3. You almost get hit, and the next pitch, you get a base hit. So hit number 4 for the Athletics, and here comes Mark Ellis.
And another 2-out hit. 3 consecutive innings.
Second baseman, number 14, Mark Ellis.
Swing and a miss on the fastball from Kazmir. Ellis a strikeout in the second, a ground out to short in the fourth.
We don't have to worry about Andrew Bailey's parents staying up late back on the East Coast and watching tonight's game because they are in town.
Yeah.
Laurie and Bill Bailey, the parents of Andrew Bailey. Bill came up with a supply of dips.
What a nice guy, huh? Yeah. Just like his kid.
Yeah. Said he brought one for B.I. He said, "Where's B.I.?" Heard a lot about him.
I'm telling you, I have people ask me about B.I. all the time. Three and one now to Ellis, so Casimir's going to go for a little walk as he gets set to throw pitch number 100. Things are moving out there. The Angels bullpen. Off the end of the bat to the second baseman Kendrick. Side retime. A's get a hit. They leave one. We head to the seventh. Still 4-0 Angels. Eric Patterson takes over in center field. So indeed, Rajai Davis looks like a little left hamstring situation. So Davis is out of the game. Patterson in. And when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up your oil change. Tune Up and Smog experts. As Henry Rodriguez takes over.
Number 1, Eric Patterson.
So Henry Rodriguez will try to keep this at a 4-0 deficit.
Leading off the top of the 7th inning for Los Angeles, number 18, Kevin Francis.
Ben Sheets will not get win number 3, and his winless streak continues. 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts for Sheets. First pitch to Kevin Francis is outside. 89 pitches for Ben Sheets tonight. Franson hits a high pop-up into the seats. Franson, Wilson, Ibar, 8-9-1 for the Angels. Sheets gave up 2 in the first and 2 in the 5th. And one's in the 5th hurt because he got the first 2 outs of the inning. And I think a Wilson double, an Ibar triple, a Kendrick single.
Yeah, I think 2 in the first kind of set the tone because even though an out was made, the pitch to Bobby Abreu that he hit for a 2-run home run, Ben started throwing harder with a fastball after that. But he was in the 80s. which is not Ben Sheets. I don't care coming back, making 13th start. We've not seen him below 90.
Nope.
Actually, even from this start number 1. So that was a little surprise.
And then over the head of Franson.
That was a breaking ball, just did not break from Henry Rodriguez, who throws 97, 98 with a fastball. Breaking ball almost, unfortunately, went into the side of the head of Franson.
And it's low ball 4. Leadoff walk to Franson here in the 7th inning. First walk in the game by A's pitchers, as Sheets did not walk anybody.
Now batting.
So the catcher Bobby Wilson steps in.
Bobby Wilson.
Well, Henry Rodriguez, of course, at AAA, the closer. But I would have to think that a closer at AAA with Andrew Bailey on the A's roster, the reigning Rookie of the Year in just his 2nd year. If you're any kind of a reliever at the minor league level, you're working hard to be a setup guy and maybe multiple innings instead of just a 1 inning, which maybe as a closer, that's what you're doing. But you have to look at the organization that you are currently employed by to see who's ahead of you, and you pitch accordingly. So for Henry, key for him is to throw strikes. He can throw hard, but he could be a very important part of this bullpen if he could throw strikes consistently.
Dino Abel gives the signs, the third base coach. Ransom takes off. Ball's hit to shallow center. Patterson coming in, and he's going to get there. He makes the catch. So Bobby Wilson, after getting hits in his first 2 at-bats, is retired on a fly ball to center field for out number 1.
Number 2, Eric Aybar.
Kevin Jepson, the big right-hander, starts to loosen up. First pitch to the leadoff man, Aybar. Hit sharply on the ground to Rosales, and it gets past him. Franson's going to try for third, and he's going to be out by a mile. Not even close. So Angels catch a break, and then they give that break right back. Franson is the second out.
That's going to be the error 6 to allow the runner to reach first base, but great hustle by Rosales and the strong arm. Shoom, goodbye. Even though a high throw, Guzman plenty of time to tag out Franson, and I don't know, does Kuz even tag him? Oh, phantom. It's a good enough tag. Ball only beat him by 10 feet. But that's the case of Franson not knowing how far the ball got away from Rosales, and obviously not far enough for him to make it.
So 2 outs. Kendrick the hitter. The runner goes through to second base, not nearly in time, and Aybar has a stolen base. That one was off the pitcher. First error of the season by Adam Rosales. And he's been so good everywhere the A's have put him.
Well, he had such an easy play. Probably decided whether he's going to take it himself and start the double play or flip it to Marcellus, and in the meantime the ball scooted past him.
Breaking ball, and that will do it. Kendrick strikes out. So nothing for the Angels. 7th inning stretch from the Coliseum. 4-0 Angels. approach the bottom of the 7th inning at the Coliseum. A little yard work being done on the mound. See Kazmir right at 100 pitches, but he will head out there for the bottom of the 7th.
No surprise we haven't seen this in a long time, where Clay Wood, his ground crew, has had to go out and manicure the pitcher's mound. Well, while they're getting the mound ready for Scott Kazmir, we'll tell you that June the 9th, that's the day after tomorrow, is the A's next double play Wednesday. First pitch against the Angels, 7:05. And you can get Plaza Reserved and outfield tickets for $2 and hot dogs for just $1, courtesy of Bart. Order tickets online now at OaklandAthletics.com, or you can call 877-493-BALL. You think there's a rain delay or something?
Yeah, it must be the request of Scott Kazmir.
Well, sometimes if you have a right-handed pitcher and a left-handed pitcher, that the landing spot is a little bit different. Looks like Clay had to put new dirt, fill in the holes, and start all over.
But Kazmir will wrap up his tosses, throw down to second base. The A's will have Cust, Fox, and then Patterson.
Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Athletics. Designated hitter, number 32, Jack Cust.
So the A's got some work to do, but they have 3 more shots against the Angels, trailing 4-0. Cust has grounded out twice in the game. Swings at the first pitch and rolls it foul. We told you earlier the Seattle Mariners defeated the Texas Rangers earlier. 4-2 the final there. In fact, there are just 2 other games in the American League outside of this one. The Seattle-Texas game in Boston beat Cleveland 4-1. Daisuke Matsusaka pitched very well and got his 5th win of the year. Game in Cleveland. Six games total in the National League. 1-2 now to Jack Cust. It's been quite a night in the broadcast booth. Let's see, we've had Eric Kubota, which is always good. We've had Bill Bailey, the father of Andrew Bailey. We've had Chef Rodney.
There he is, folks. Right there. Chef Rodney.
Chef Rodney.
Chef, you're the best. Chef Rodney, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe the highlight of the night has been Chef Rodney.
No question about it.
And the goodies.
Don't leave, Chef Rodney. You're our hero tonight.
Leave down, Chef, so everybody can see you. You're hiding behind BI there. Come on down here.
Oh, boy. There he is.
There he is,
That's
folks.
the man right there.
This is the man right here. You're wonderful, Chef. Thank you. Thank you. We've been waiting all season. It's June the 7th, but you finally made it. We appreciate it. Busy year? That's good. We like that. Barbecue sandwich was great with those sliders. Were those sliders all? I didn't get one. Those were going fast.
Number 50.
Diamond Level's where this is where all the good food is. Diamond Level.
I think it's
all over.
It's time we do a game for the Diamond Level.
Well, we're going to have to do a game down there. But thank you, Chef.
Thank you, Chef.
Chef Rodney, ladies and gentlemen. He is good. Standing ovation for the chef.
So just when we finished everything, then the dessert came. So we're having fun tonight. Score is not good, but we're having fun.
This, Tommy, if you can see our dessert tray.
So 0-2 to Jake Fox.
There it is, folks.
Oh, don't forget the ice cream in the
ice cream in the
cup.
It's like some red velvet cake and nice assortment. So come to the Coliseum. You got good food, good baseball in that order. Great baseball, good food.
told you, people are coming in here that we have no idea who they are. So 2-2 to Jake Fox. People that we've never seen before, Ray, ever in our lifetime. Deep to left. Rivera back, and the A's are on the board. Jake Fox connects. Well, maybe the start of something for the Athletics.
Kevin Jeffson, the right-hander, warming up, but Jake Fox, the right-hander, sandwiched between a couple of lefties in the inning, tried to go inside with a fastball, left it up and over the plate a little bit, and Jake Fox for just the second time this year. First one came in Seattle, straightaway center field, in the game in which Gio Gonzalez was the starting pitcher. That was a 2-run shot, and Jake a blast to left field. A solo here, and the A's are on the board.
So 4-1, and Patterson his first at bat tonight. If you're just joining us, Rajai Davis left last inning. Looks like a little tightness in that hamstring. Most pitches that Kazmir has thrown in any one start this year is 117. And this is number 114, and it's outside, 2-2.
Yeah, with Derek Barton, another left-hander in the on-deck circle, you have another situation. Does he extend him? Mike Scioscia, that is, with a 3-run lead now.
On the ground, backhanded Napoli, he flips, and Patterson is going to try for second, and he'll make it. Kazmir reached up, the throw is high. So it's going to be an error, and the A's are going to have a runner at second with 1 out.
Well, there's your first baseman, former catcher, actually playing first base, and Napoli, a long way away, tried to run the ball over to the pitcher, run it over and then flip it, and that was the dangerous flip. It was up a little bit. He tried to reach, could not hang on and catch the bag at the same time, and with the ball getting away just far enough, or really not that far, Eric Patterson made the quick turn and stands at second base.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. Kazmir out, and the A's down by 3, but they have a runner at second, 1 out.
May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Now batting, first baseman, Number 10.
Scott Kazmir, 6 1/3. 5 hits. 1 run. That was the home run by Jake Fox. So he'll sit back, watch the rest of this one. Kevin Jepson, the right-hander, comes in to face Derek Barton. That error on the Patterson ball was given to Napoli, the first baseman. His throw was just a bit high. So Jepson takes over his 26th appearance. And it's 2-0. The Angels bullpen as a whole, a 4.84 ERA. That's the second worst in the American League.
Well, that's encouraging for the A's if they can hold the Angels there.
Playable in left where Juan Rivera goes back. He's got it, and that is out number 2. Which is just strange to say. We're so used to the Angels bullpen being one of their bright spots, but really last year struggled as well.
Now batting for the catcher, number 8, Kurt
Well, they have a couple of
Suzuki.
closers in Fernando Rodney, of course, over from the Detroit Tigers, and Ryan Fuentes, closer last year. Mike Scioscia's bullpen, and Raymond standing right behind him.
Not surprised. There's the left-hander. Fuentes, the only lefty the Angels have down in their bullpen. Strike to Kurt Suzuki. They have a Francisco Rodriguez in their bullpen. It's not the guy you think it is.
Definitely didn't cost him as much to have this one. No, it didn't. As the Mets paid K-Rod 62 saves.
Is that what he finished with?
I think so.
In that one season. Popped up. First baseman Napoli comes down near the mound. He's got it side. Retired. A's get a run on Jake Fox. Home run for Fox, his second of the year, as we are headed to the 8th inning. It's the Angels 4 and the Athletics 1.
The comfort and privacy of a mini slider. Mini suite, that is. All you need is 6 people to reserve a mini suite experience. Game tickets and a food package, including wings, sliders, hot dogs, popcorn, beer, and water, all for only $99 per person. For more information, visit OaklandAthletics.com. And if all you have to do is request Chef Rodney to bring up the goodies, it's worth it. Pay $99 per person, grab a half a dozen, and you get all that good food.
You see how much fun they were having?
Sliders alone. You had one, right?
I did. They were unbelievable. How was yours?
You shared them so fast, I didn't get one.
I feel bad. Bobby Abreu, a 2-run homer in the very first inning. Fastball, 99 miles an hour from Henry Rodriguez, right down the middle. It's 0-2.
Well, you could just picture Joel Zumaya, who the Tigers have in their bullpen, throws 100, pretty consistently with his strikes. And Abreu, the pitch was right down the middle at 99. And I think he had an 88 fastball off Ben Sheets. So, yeah, just a little bit difference.
Abreu, followed by Hunter and then Matsui. How about this, Ray? The Cubs won today 6-1. It was a makeup game between the Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates from a rainout last week. Carlos Silva won a game. I mean, there's been some great stories this year in Major League Baseball. But I think Carlos Silva, you have to put him in that category now. He's 8-0.
That is unbelievable.
8-0.
Yeah.
His ERA is 2.93. He went 7 innings today, gave up just 4 hits and 1 run. His last 2 seasons, 08 and 09, he was a combined 5-18. This year he's 8. It was the Carlos Silva, Milton Bradley trade even up, and really it was just swapping 2 bad contracts. The Cubs are now thinking, well, we're thrilled because Carlos Silva, a perfect 8. The left fielder Jake Fox comes in, and he's got it for out number 1.
So today being Monday, I don't know what their schedule shows, but 5th day would be Saturday for him.
Now batting, number 48.
Well, today was a makeup game, so that means I'm sure they're playing somewhere Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the weekend.
Yeah. And then the A's and Cubs, I'm assuming A's are off Monday traveling to Chicago. A's will play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so the A's could get him on the final day, the Thursday day game at Wrigley Field. You know, you read what pitchers talk about Doc Holliday, Roy Halladay, when he went to the Philadelphia Phillies from the Toronto Blue Jays. And last summer when they were talking about trading him, he was saying, National League? Absolutely, because usually the 8th hitter, you can pitch around if you want to, and you're facing the pitcher early in the game. And it makes it somewhat easier. So maybe for Carlos Silva, who pitched for the Twins, went to the Mariners, now in the National League, maybe that's something that's benefiting him. The numbers he's put up. Possibly the A's will see firsthand. They had faced him with the Twins and with the Mariners. They did not. For the Twins, he threw strikes all the time, and they quit games.
Ellis has it. Well, Silva saw a note, the first Cubs starter to start a season 8-0 since 1967. It was Ken Holtzman with the Cubs.
Number 55, Hideki Matsui.
For Holtzman, that might have been in the midst of his 20-win season, 4 of them.
He won 24 times.
Wow. I think it was 4 times.
2 outs for Hideki Matsui.
Well, he's part of the 3 starters with the A's in '73. Holtzman, Catfish, and Vida, winning at least 20. And with the Cubs, Kenny Holtzman was outstanding.
Pitch is low. Rodriguez looks like he's going to get a couple of innings of work tonight. Is 1 out away from finishing up his second inning.
And with the bullpen the way it is, might seem for the ninth.
It might be. Kurt Suzuki gets hit, and hit pretty good.
And sometimes the glove hand takes the beating. And it took the beating. The left hand, like maybe the little finger, ring finger, part of the hand that took it. Sometimes when the catcher turns the mitt, the thumb down, and he has a sinker ball pitcher, the ball is just going to eat up his thumb. Doesn't feel good either.
There's the good fastball. 101 miles an hour, and Matsui swings and misses. So a good 2 innings for Henry Rodriguez. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 4-1 Angels. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by McDonald's. This was in the very first inning. Bobby Abreu, a fastball into the seats for his 7th home run of the year. A couple of RBIs, and that gave the Angels a 2-0 lead. Scott Kazmir pretty good tonight. In fact, he had 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. He didn't strike anybody out after the 3rd inning, but the only run he gave up was a solo home run by Jake Fox. That was in the 7th. Inning. 4-6-1 for the Angels, 1-5-2 for the Athletics. Ben Sheets for the A's went 6 innings and gave up all 4 of those runs. So a new pitcher for the Angels. It is Fernando Rodney. So when it's time for a change,
it's Fernando Chef Rodney.
Chef Rodney. Oh boy,
that's great, guys.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and spot experts. Way too much fun being had tonight. Cedric Bowers, the lefty, starts to throw. Kuzminoff is 0 for 3. A couple of groundouts and a strikeout. Fouls that pitch right back to the screen. So Kevin Jepson, who came out in relief of Kazmir, gets 2 outs in the 7th inning, and then he hands the ball to Rodney. Broken bat, little flip job, and that's going to fall in front of Bobby Abreu. So Kevin Kuzminoff has his first hit tonight.
Well, the A's and Angels have played a lot of games last several years that have been very close. A lot of one-run games, and the A's will take that hit. Sounded like a cracked bat. It was. And Bobby Abreu keeping Kuzminoff at first and not trying to make a spectacular play. 3 runs. The A's against the Minnesota Twins. Went down 3-1 game, 2 the other. Came back late. Adam Rosales with triple, driving in 2 to tie 1 game.
That went off the glove of the catcher Bobby Wilson, so Kuzminoff will go to second.
Bobby checking with his pitcher, but should be a pass ball, which it is. Ball off his glove. Now, I think they're going to check for the signs of the runner at second base, but this ball just clearly right in the middle of the plate. Probably could have been called a strike. But that's the play we talk about, where a catcher, instead of turning the palm of the glove towards the plate, he took it away, and as a result, a sinker off the glove, and it gets a pass ball. All he had to do is turn his mitt inward, and he would have caught it, might have kept it in the strike zone.
It's almost like when you do that, you kind of have to keep following the ball outside, and if it goes too far, you're not going to make the play. 1-1 to Rosales. Runner in scoring position, nobody out for the A's. Ryan Sweeney in the deck circle.
A great palm ball is Rodney.
It's got some funky action to it, doesn't it?
Well, it comes out of his hand great, just like a fastball, and when he pulls a string, it's tough to pick up, tough to hit.
There it was again. This time Rosales waited on it a little bit and fouled it back. High fastball, and Rosales chased it. So the palm ball, you saw 82, 83 miles per hour, and then that right there, 95.
And up in the zone, almost impossible to catch up, especially that far out of the strike zone.
Right fielder, number 21, Ryan Sweeney.
So 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Fernando Rodney signing the free agent contract. Got a 2-year, $11 million deal to come to the Angels. Workhorse for the Tigers. Pitched a lot of games for them. Line drive left field, and that's going to be a base hit. Just there. Kuzminoff will score. Sweeney digging for second, and he's in there with an RBI double. 4-2. Ryan Sweeney is 3 for 4.
Just a slicing double. Fastball up and away after the palm ball and just inside the line. And Kuz was going to score easily, but Ryan Sweeney read it and thinking 2 and made the turn and then turned on the afterburners. And of course, Ryan Sweeney's knees have been bothering him. And once he committed to go for 2, he really turned it on.
Mark Ellis will hit. RBI number 27 for Sweeney.
Well, the pass ball put Kuzminoff in scoring position, and now also Ryan Sweeney also in scoring position.
There's that foul ball. Floats in for a strike.
Well, if you can sit soft, you can sit looking for the palm ball. I mean, really 50-50 chance. Look for something hard. 95 with the palm ball. 82-85. It's hard to look for both.
Wasting your time.
It's a good time to guess until you get 2 strikes. Good hitters. I'm talking to Jack Cust about looking for a certain pitch, and especially a pitch that going to be the change up or off speed variety.
Popped up. Ellis chased a pitch that was a little bit high. Kendrick, the second baseman, has it, and that's out number 2. Boy, the A's would love to pick up this run.
Now batting.
It'll be up to Cust.
Number 32, Jack Cust.
So the A's have cut into the lead a little bit more. It's 4-2. Cust is 0 for 3. He's grounded out to the right side 3 times. Twice to second, once to first. It's a strike called with the palm ball. It's really simple, folks. If you see 82, 83, 84 miles per hour, it's the palm ball. If you see 94, 95, well, you know what that is. Drive down the right field line, but he hooked it foul. Did Cust?
Got a bat. You could hear the crack just a little bit out in front of the changeup.
Cust behind in the count, 0-2. Rodney's ready. Foul tip. Jars the catcher Wilson a little bit. Cedric Bauer still throwing in the A's bullpen. He's been down there a while, so he's ready to go.
That hurts. That is right off the mask. Good fastball. Just foul tipped.
Another 0-2. Got him with the palm ball. 83 miles an hour. Cust strikes out. The A's get a run on Ryan Sweeney's RBI double. We're headed to the ninth. It's the Angels 4, the A's 2. Well, we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Sportsnet Central tonight at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Baseball recaps, as always. The first round of the Major League Baseball draft is in the books. Who did the A's take? Who did the Giants take? And a 49ers trade. How about that? Damon Andrews and Matt Morrison will host. New pitcher for the Athletics. It is Cedric Bowers. The left-hander comes in. So Bowers will face Napoli, Rivera, and Kevin Frandsen. First pitch is a strike. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Bowers' 4th appearance in the big leagues for the A's. Pitched a handful of games for the Rockies a couple years ago.
He got life on his fastball. That was a very good curveball. Ball game against the Twins. He dropped down left-handed, or dropped down sidearm to a left-handed batter. Neil Patterson, who's the minor league roving pitching instructor, I guess had taught him and was very impressed with the pitch, although it feels like it was against Kubel. And he pulled the ball staying inside a little bit too much. If you drop down lefty to lefty, get the ball outside.
That is the Angels closer, Brian Fuentes. Napoli is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice to third, and he is struck out swinging. Napoli with 9 home runs and 25 RBIs. Getting a chance to play as the first baseman now with Morales on the disabled list. Seems like every trade rumor now that does pop up, and they are just rumors, but the Angels are always looking for a first baseman. Inside corner, Napoli cannot believe it as he just stands there and looks at Eric Cooper. Let's see, looking strikeout.
Well, Jim Scala, perhaps, I'm sure, watching this game in the clubhouse can
Number 20.
say you're exactly right, Mike Napoli, because that pitch showed it with the stride above the knees, but standing up, definitely not. That pitch, the low one, been called too often, and more times than not out of the strike zone, just too low, and it does force the hitters to swing at a pitch that is out of the strike zone. And all you can do is beat it in the ground.
Rivera hits one very high toward Patterson into right center. He's got it. Out number 2.
Number 18, Kevin Frandsen.
So Frandsen will hit. So those trade rumors revolving around the Angels going after a first baseman.
Kevin Youkilis?
I don't think Uke's going anywhere. Here, Paul Konerko's name thrown out there. Whether the White Sox are ready to start trading a few people. White Sox are 8.5 games back in the AL Central. But again, all just rumors. But I'm sure the Angels put a few feelers out there, see if anybody's available. You have to do that.
But if they continue to have success, the type of success they've had since Kendry Morales went on the disabled list, you don't have to look as hard.
Exactly.
If you've got guys who could fill in, and Mike Scioscia very good putting players in different spots, mixing and matching, and doing whatever it takes to win.
And if you get a little desperate, and I don't know if desperate's the right word, but where you really need a hitter, teams are going to ask for more. But when you're playing great, you don't appear like you absolutely have to add somebody. Even though I do believe the Angels would add somebody if the right deal came. Because who knows how long Morales is going to be out. Could be all year. Who knows? Franson swings at a pitch that was way inside. He fouled it, and it hit Eric Cooper.
And it almost hit him as he was swinging. Pitch getting inside on him and pulled the hands. Actually, he didn't foul the ball. I think it was just missed.
I think you're right. I don't know that he got any contact there.
And right over Kurt Suzuki and into Eric Cooper. Franson probably wondering, was he even a strike?
But it was ruled a foul ball.
Was it? But did it look like he hit it?
No, it did not.
Question is, how did Kurt Suzuki miss it so badly? So we'll get the benefit of doubt if it's a foul ball, because otherwise Zook's going to put a glove on it.
Hanson lines one right center, but Patterson got a good jump. He gets over there and he makes the catch. So we are headed to the bottom of the ninth. Fuentes coming in. The A's need 2 to tie and 3 to go home.
By Toyota. Say yes to amazing deals on your favorite Toyotas. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Yes. By Xfinity. The next generation in home entertainment. Now available in the Bay Area and coming soon to the Central Valley. And by Chevy. With a full lineup of award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Time now for the Jeep drive of the game. Took the A's 6 innings to get on the board, but it was Eric Fox, a fastball that Scott Kasper trying to get inside, up into the seats over the out-of-town scoreboard, where Jake Fox home run number 2 as a member of the Athletics. And it's been a while since his first, back in the first series in Seattle.
So here we go, bottom of the ninth. Fuentes' first pitch. Fox pops it up. Foul territory. Napoli circling around, and he caught it. Wasn't pretty, but it's an out. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, the play that the catcher is unhappy if he's playing first base to make that play. And I do stand corrected. It is Jake Fox, not Eric Fox. Still trying to get Eric back on the club.
Left-handed bat off the bench.
A long time since he's been here, but well, something just happens and stays right there. So my apologies to the Fox family. At least to Jake's.
Yep. So Patterson, somebody needs to get aboard and get the tying run to the plate. Fuentes this year can make it interesting, and he has done that time and time again for the Angels. 1-2 now to Patterson. Second at bat for Patterson. He reached on an error in the 7th inning.
But even though the Angels did sign Fernando Rodney, Fuentes is still a closer.
Just missed outside. 2-2. Barton on deck. After Barton would be Suzuki. Strike 3 call. Looks like the same pitch. This time Fuentes gets the call. 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth.
I think eventually he's going to get the call if he stayed out there with a fastball. And Bobby Wilson with the target. And Cooper, let's see, just a bit outside, but you know, with that angle. There's a black border around the home plate area.
So Barton will try to do what he can to get aboard. And he almost got hit. Barton, a couple of walks tonight. And a couple of fly balls to left field. There's a strike. So Fuentes looking for his 8th save of the year. Strike 2 with a fastball. Barton can't pull the trigger. One and 2. Hanging in there, fouls it back. Both the A's and the Angels can look up and see that the first place Texas Rangers lost. That one breaks outside. Barton takes it to even the count at 2-2.
I think Kurt Suzuki would love to come up with a runner on. He's, of course, depend on Barton getting on. The tying run to the plate.
Strike 3 call. A little delayed call by Eric Cooper, and that's how the ball game ends. Barton still chewing on.
And see, don't walk away now in the clubhouse. Just turn around and make sure you listen, because you've been hearing it all night. Might as well continue.
So a couple of strikeouts for Brian Fuentes in the ninth, and the Angels will win it tonight by a final of 4-2.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So an interesting strike zone all night by Eric Cooper, and that's how the game ends. Maybe that's appropriate. So the Angels win their 6th in a row, and they take over first place in the AL West. The A's are now 30-29. Final score: the Angels